And I've been working at a large high school here in the city for the last couple of years, working with students. Who's familiar with permaculture, by the way? Hi, this is my crowd. This is good. I prepared a bit of a speech. I'm gonna end up reading a chunk of it off of my iPad, which is something that I try to avoid doing, but I want to make sure that I get this right. When biologist and network theorist Stuart Kauffman coined the term adjacent possible, he was referring to the natural tendency of the universe to move from simple to complex, from limited to resilient, and from unconnected to connected to interconnected. At this moment, we're standing at the edge of the boreal forest, which is the world's largest terrestrial biome and represents 30% of the trees on this planet. Right now, this lawn that we're standing on wants to become a forest. And so what Stuart Kauffman means by the adjacent possible is that if we were to leave this lawn, we would start finding these super hardy, fast-growing pioneer species, these dandelions that some of us work so hard to remove. And then we're going to start getting our annual grasses, our perennial grasses. That's going to succeed to little shrubs and little trees. And this, on a long enough timeline, will turn back into that forest. Every single stage in that succession paves the way for the stage next to it. Each stage expands the adjacent possible for what's next. In essence, life creates the conditions conducive to life. And I would like to propose to you that there are two kinds of actions that we can take in this world. Those that increase the adjacent possible and those that decrease it. We all represent a stage in succession, and as such, it is our responsibility to act in ways that expand the adjacent possible for the world and for each other. Today I'm here because Monsanto represents an ecologically and socially limiting force on the planet. A trend towards simplicity instead of complexity, monocultures instead of polycultures, singularity instead of collectivity, instability instead of resilience, and scarcity instead of abundance. We don't need Monsanto. Together, let us expand our adjacent possible. Let us act as net forces for good. Thank you.
I'm not as eloquent as Dustin. I totally read, otherwise I'm going to be off on a tangent. So, well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for giving me some of your time today to help bring awareness to this important cause. For anyone not knowing why we're here, it's about not being told what is in the food we eat, or having the right to choose if we want to eat it. I'm talking about genetically modified organisms, GMOs. My name is John Samchuk. I'm a glycobiologist and nutritional researcher. Who here remembers algebra from high school? Okay, the reason I ask is to help paint a picture of the basics how food works in the body. Our bodies are like a complex mathematical equation with many variables, but only one good answer: health. Our bodies are a reflection of our environment. The variables have been consistent for thousands of years. This is what it is used to. But if you enter alien or random variables, i.e. GMOs, in a complex equation that was never designed for them, it's impossible to achieve the answer that is needed. My master's was done on ethnic origins and effect on nutrient metabolism. My research showed that by introducing alien molecules of any type into a set metabolic environment, it created a stress or imbalance. The greater the difference from something native to the organism's environment, the greater the imbalance. This decreases the body's immune response and makes it highly reactive rather than responsive. This in turn creates mental and physical fatigue and the inability for DNA to transcribe properly during cell division, i.e. mutations, or heal, for that matter, from a simple infection. Introducing molecules such as the polypeptides found in GMOs into the food chain creates a confusion at the onset of digestion, as the enzymes needed to properly catalyze these new structures just don't exist. Literally confusing a linear process and creating gastrointestinal chaos. Example, cramps, bloating, etc. As our bodies are like a relational database, what affects one system will eventually cascade through the connected systems and make it unstable. Please educate yourselves on this so as to help educate others. Your health is your future. You have the right to choose what affects it. Thank you.
Child? that's in school? That's maybe where we should start. And all of our friends, even the ones that we don't dare talk about this to, we need to begin chatting about it. So, I have 3 main things that I want to make a point of. We have a choice. We always do. We have a choice. We need to build awareness, and we need to build in stewardship for the land, air, and water. All right? So choice, awareness, and stewardship. We've got, it's not a religion, but it's stewardship. It's looking after our land, air, and our water. Last thing to say, used to be in the 1980s, there were 81 organic companies in the world. Next quiz question, how many are there now? 15. Okay, that's a big difference. So the big companies have also taken over the organic foods. What's the last thing I have to say is, so get to know your grower. All right? You can get to know the multinationals if you want, but an easier solution to how you eat is get to know your grower. Finally, how many key food processors are there in the world? There used to be over 5,000 who are making 80% of the food dollar of those who process foods. How many companies? 10. That's it. So there's been a dramatic change. That's up here. We're down here. Let's make it happen. Thank you, everybody.